A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. On June 7th, 2025, the streets of Rome witnessed a powerful demonstration as tens of thousands of people gathered to protest against the ongoing war in Gaza. The rally, organized by Italy's main opposition parties, highlighted the growing discontent with the right-wing government's perceived silence on the escalating violence in the region. Protesters carried banners with powerful messages such as "Stop the massacre, stop complicity," as they marched peacefully through the city's center, waving a vibrant array of rainbow, Palestinian, and political party flags. The event attracted a diverse crowd, including families with children, all united in their call for a more assertive stance from the Italian government regarding the conflict in Gaza. According to organizers, the rally drew an impressive turnout, with estimates suggesting that up to 300,000 people participated. Elly Schlein, the leader of Italy's center-left Democratic Party, addressed the crowd, stating, "This is an enormous popular response to say enough to the massacre of Palestinians and the crimes of Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu's government." Schlein emphasized that the demonstration was a reflection of an Italy that refuses to remain silent in the face of such atrocities, contrasting it with the actions of Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government. The protests come amid increasing pressure on the Italian government to take a clearer stance on the conflict. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Meloni urged Israel to halt its military campaign in Gaza, acknowledging the disproportionate nature of the attacks and the urgent need to protect civilians. However, many observers have criticized her response as too timid, especially given the scale of the humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza. Nadine Yanali, a demonstrator from Tunisia, expressed frustration with the Italian government's lack of decisive action, stating, "The government remains silent despite an abnormal massacre, despite an absolutely cruel and inappropriate reaction." The situation in Gaza has become increasingly dire, with reports indicating that the region has been under an Israeli blockade for nearly 3 months. Experts warn that the 2 million residents of Gaza are at high risk of famine, exacerbated by the ongoing military campaign. The conflict initially erupted on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas-led militants launched a surprise attack on Israel, resulting in the deaths of approximately 1,200 people, most of whom were civilians. The situation has escalated dramatically since then, with Israeli military operations leading to over 54,000 Palestinian deaths, primarily affecting women and children, according to figures released by the Gaza Health Ministry. These figures do not differentiate between civilians and combatants, complicating the understanding of the true impact of the conflict. As international criticism mounts against Israel for its military actions and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the protests in Rome reflect a broader sentiment across Europe and beyond, calling for accountability and a re-evaluation of foreign policy in relation to the Israel-Palestine conflict. The demonstrations served as a reminder of the power of collective action and the urgent need for governments to respond to the voices of their constituents in times of crisis. The protests in Rome are just one example of how public sentiment is shifting in response to the ongoing violence in Gaza, as citizens demand that their leaders take a stand against what they perceive as injustices and human rights violations. As the situation continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how governments around the world will respond to the calls for action and the growing humanitarian needs of those affected by the conflict. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.